Welcome back to the Boot Tragedies.
All right, we did the quarterbacks already, going through the whole depth chart. Now we're going to make our way to the offensive line. Obviously, through OTAs, the first couple days, first couple practices, a new offensive line has been out there. And honestly, it's something we've all been asking for a while, especially in regards to Trevor Penning, to move him to offensive guard. He's a lot of traits that will be really, really good in the run game at that guard position, on that island at tackle, at left tackle or at right tackle. He would get lost sometimes. He was whiffed sometimes. Now, having people more in, not as much in space, all compacted together, where you basically got to hit me and I have to hit you, that's going to do wonders for him. Obviously, it's more detailed than that, but it's much more, confined at that guard position. I think that will do wonders for him. But we'll just go through the entire depth chart right now and talk about this offensive line as a unit. Obviously, you got a left tackle. We're going to, they're starting with Kelvin Banks Jr. right there. We'll get more into detail with him and more other guys. Obviously, left guard, I just talked about Trevor Penning. Then you have center. You got Eric McCoy. Right guard, we're going to go with Cesar Ruiz. And then at right tackle, obviously, it's going to be Tulise Fuaga, who's going to be making that switch from left tackle to right tackle this year. And on your bench, you got Will Clapp and Landon Young, Nick Saldiveri. Those are going to be your main guys. Obviously, we brought some other guys in, but those are going to be your main 8. A lot of them guys after that is going to be fighting for that 9th position, 10th position, 11th position, or whatever you want to call it. However many offensive linemen we keep on the roster, those are going to be the guys fighting for that job. So let's talk about the backups real quick before we get into the starters. I like Will Clapp as a backup. You needed the backup center. Last year when McCoy went out, we saw how bad this team got. So you need a backup center. That's a very, very non-value position in football. But when that position is out, it shows his value. When Eric McCoy went out for the Saints, that offensive line went to pure shit. We're just going to be honest about it. So having a backup center guy that started in this league and things like that, and obviously a famous meme, that's going to be really, really good for the Saints. Landon Young, he's played a couple years for the Saints now, played all over the line. And then you have Nick Saldiveri, who we drafted, I believe, 4th or 5th round. Can't quite remember off the top of my head. We're going to look at the drafts anyway. And that's going to be help. Now let's go to the draft, because I just said I was going to look at the draft anyway. And he was a 4th rounder. That's what I thought, my first mind. But let's just look at what the Saints have invested in the offensive line group. This year, obviously, Kelvin Banks Jr., number 9 pick. Number 9 pick in the draft, 1st rounder, top 10 pick. Year before that, Tulise Fuaga, number 14 pick, 1st rounder. Year before that, Nick Saldiveri, 4th round pick. He's been injured, only played in, well, they say 15 games. He's barely played for the Saints. Then you got Trevor Penning, 19th pick, 1st rounder. Year before that, we got Landon Young, who's still on the roster. So drafting the guy 6th round in 2021, still being on your roster for the 25-26 season, a solid backup, okay at times. You can't be mad at that draft pick right there. Year before that, Cesar Ruiz, 24th pick, 1st rounder. The year before that, our 1st pick in the draft, not a 1st rounder, Eric McCoy as a center, 48th pick, mid-2nd round pick. So you've addressed this offensive line. You've spent a lot of draft capital on this offensive line. So people saying that this offensive line unit could be a sleeper, it can be better than we thought. This offensive line unit has to be good. I don't want to hear about if they're a sleeper or they could be good. You've drafted 4 1st round picks and a high 2nd round pick who's your best offensive lineman. I don't want to hear about, we could possibly be good, or they might do this, they might do this. Offensive line unit has to be good, or you fucked it up. It's just simple as that. 4 1st rounders, a high 2nd, it has to be good. And you're playing a little topsy-turvy, and I can talk about some pros and cons with that. Tulise Fuaga looks like he could have been an all-pro left tackle. Now you're going to move him to the right side, which he played right tackle as well, so hopefully it won't be as hard of an adjustment for him. But you had a guy solidify at the left tackle position, and then you draft another left tackle. You draft another left tackle after you just moved Trevor Penning from left tackle to right tackle. And now you're moving the right tackle to left guard, which is a new position. Not even back to left tackle, or not even back to, or on the right side to right guard, because you got Cesar Ruiz. Then you have to move him to left guard, and you don't want to do that because he's at right guard. So the only mainstay you have right now is Eric McCoy and Cesar Ruiz. So it's a lot of topsy-turvy, a lot of new guys playing new position. Kelvin Banks is playing left tackle. He's a rookie. So I kind of understand you want to put him at left tackle because you don't want to really move a rookie from left tackle to right tackle in its first year, even though we did it with Fuaga in the flip order. But we'll see what happens with that. But I do like this unit. People saying, like I said, I don't want to call them a sleeper. I don't want to call them like, oh, we can shock everybody. We spent 4 first-round picks. I don't know how many times I have to say it. 4 first-round picks on it. This unit has to be good for the Saints to be any type of a respectable team next year. I mean, obviously, if you look at this depth chart, we'll get in. I think we're lacking in a lot of areas. But this offensive line is a high investment for this team. We're invested a lot. We've passed up on skilled players. We passed up on quarterbacks. We passed up on good interior linemen on the defensive side. We passed on #1 corners possibly. We've passed up on a lot of guys to get these first rounders in the building. No excuse. No excuse. I think Trevor Penny is at his best position. I think Fuaga is really, really good where he can play on the right, and you drafted a left tackle. We know we got Cesar Ruiz. He's not great. He's not terrible. He's going to be your right guard, and that's okay. And Eric McCoy is the stud. Everybody else has to work. Now, I do like how it's versatile. I like how we can, hey, if somebody gets hurt, Kelvin Banks, knock on wood, obviously we don't want that to happen, then you can move Fuaga to left tackle. You can move Trevor Penny to right tackle if need be. And you can, put a Landon Young at right tackle and keep Penny at guard and things like that. Will Clapp can come in that center. If Clapp and McCoy is out, then obviously you can put Ruiz there. So it's obviously a lot of guys that's played a lot of positions. That could be a good thing or that could be an awful thing. Because I don't know the saying off the top of my head, but man of many skills, but master of none, something like that. That's what it's looking like our offensive line is right now. Yeah, we got a lot of skills. We can do this, we can do that, but we haven't mastered anything except McCoy. So we'll see what this offensive line looks, man. Let me know what y'all think about, the offensive line unit. I think it's a solid unit. Hopefully they play well. Like I said, I'm not coming in with low expectations. Well, I'm not going to say I'm not coming in with low expectations. My expectations aren't high for them, but I'm not going to be shocked if they turn out to play well. All first rounders. We've invested a lot in y'all. You better play well. God damn it. We need it if this team want to be successful. You got 2 quarterbacks that's played very, very little pro football. Spencer Rattler, little. Jake Haener, little. Yeah, and Tyler Shuck, little. None. Not even little. None. So, even though he's older, doesn't matter. A lot of these guys haven't played football. We don't have a top 15 quarterback in the NFL. We might not even have a top 25 quarterback in the NFL. And that's just being completely honest. Hopefully these guys develop into that and play well enough that they can play like a top 15, top 20 guy. But it's going to start with that offensive line, especially when it comes to the running game as well. But we're going to get to that in the running backs, probably in the next video, maybe the receivers. We'll see who I decide to do next. But that's the offensive line unit. Let me know what y'all think about this unit, how they're going to line up. Do you think that's the best unit? Can we switch it up? Can we flip-flop, turby, all that good stuff? Or should we keep the same and then let's see how it plays out? But thank y'all for tuning in once again, man. As always, this is DaBootTragedies, and I'm out.
So one last time, let's make